Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Star Wars Black Series action figure of Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. There have been 3 individually carded Luke Skywalker figures in the Black Series. There's a 4th that comes in a 2-pack with the Wampa. But what all these figures have in common is that they're all made out of plastic. None of them feature fabrics. Until you get to this one, with this BS here. I mean, look at these, and then look at that one. It just... The fact that Hasbro chose to go fabric with this figure just infuriates me. Let's take a closer look. I just don't understand the interest in doing cloth fabrics on an action figure, especially when you've established from like the pants and the shoes that this is supposed to be fabric, this is made of fabric, so like none of it matches. It's the incontinuity within the singular figure that bothers me, and the fact that it looks cheap. Like, this doesn't look quality, this looks lame. This looks like it's got really massive sleeves. You can see the weird indented seam because it's not proportionate to like human cloth dimensions. So you get these big weird seams in the middle of it. The stitching looks terrible. You know, he's got like these I mean, granted it was pretty baggy in the movie, but like it hangs weird and baggy around the armpits. It just looks terrible and cheap. But there are good things about this figure, like the details within the pants. They have a nice texture to them. Again, because someone sculpted this to make it look like fabric because it's a freaking action figure. But the way his little leg wraps are done look really good. The articulation on the hinged ankles allow him to stand really good. You got double knee joint, you have a mid-thigh cut, and then the basic hinge at the legs. There is the mid-torso cut right there under his ribs. You got a pretty decent hinge at the arms, bicep cut. There is a double elbow joint inside there, and then the hinge at the wrist that goes side to side on both of those, and the swivel as well. And then there's the head joint, which has the basic ball at the top of the neck, and then the hinge at the base of the neck. And that's another thing that really irritates me about this figure is how cheap the Black Series has seemed to have gone with this figure. Look at the original Luke, the very, very first Luke, and the fact that they painted his face to the more proper skin tone, how cheap this plastic looks. They've had other plastic faces for Luke, but none that ever felt this cheap. Like, it's so translucent and basic. This is such a cheap looking head, just the paint on it, the eyeball paint. This is embarrassing almost for Black Series. I think Hasbro should be kind of embarrassed by how far the quality has come with Luke's over the years, because this is just... This isn't just me being nitpicky. That is subpar. Now, I will say that Hasbro did a good job with this belt. I think like the gold and silver paint, like the little rivets on it, look really good. And the brown paint does give it like a good leathery effect. What heightens that effect is the good sculpt. You can see like on the front here, but more on the back, the texturing there within his pockets and pouches looks really, really good. If Hasbro had made the effort to like sculpt a tunic that had the texture detail that belt did, we'd have a really good figure. Now, he comes with a couple accessories, including this Tatooine binoculars, which has like a little clip, so that's cool. But the details on it are really good, and the silver paint is really clean. This is a good sculpt. I like this. He also comes with his lightsaber, which is really well painted. The red button looks good. Comes with a blade that is removable from the hilt, and you can hang the hilt on his belt, which looks pretty cool. What doesn't look cool is the rest of this figure. And what really like irritates me is that with the Obi-Wan figure that they've done, they've shown that they can sculpt a tunic and give it texture to make it look like fabric and hang properly on the figure. So Hasbro really has no excuse. Like, I just don't get it. Like, this doesn't match this. I don't understand how Hasbro likes it, and I'm not really someone who collects action figures with cloth like that. For those of you who like cloth figures on a figure like this, if the top doesn't match the bottom, like, I don't get it. Someone explain to me, because I don't get it. I don't think it looks good at all. With his cheap head, I found this figure to be a pretty big disappointment. Thanks for watching, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.